Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We are zooming in and we are focusing in a little bit more in depth on the covert narcissist defense mechanism of superiority, taking a refuge in a sense of superiority over others as a way to ward off pain, shame, inferiority that they really feel themselves, and furthermore, how they project this hostility, anger, and indignation on others around them in their environment who they have targeted, scoped out, and basically, as a viewer, so aptly described in a comment. This is a perfect way to put it, basically, but they will select others to basically be a receptacle for their emotional garbage. I mean, I think that's a great combination of words, but basically they will select others who they have pinpointed in their social set, in their social circle, inner circle, who they will basically throw their emotional garbage out and expect you to be a receptacle for it. So if they can throw it out, then they don't have to deal with the feelings. And oftentimes the trigger is just the fact that this individual has emotion. And all individuals have emotion. All people have energy and motion or feelings. And the covert narcissist does not have a very rich, secure emotional life. They're constantly trying to ward off feelings of inferiority themselves by projecting these sort of same, similar, equivalent feelings onto others and lashing out at them, really for no apparent reason. So as you can understand then, that the anger, hostility that is projected onto others or thrust onto others has nothing to do with that person. It has everything to do with the negative, toxic feelings that have become unbearable to them. So they are using you as a scapegoat, just as a relief, as a trigger, as a lever, basically as a place to put all that negative energy. And that anger and hostility, not only are you not receiving the positive, neutral, or base validation, you're receiving a negative validation, but it has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with the superiority that the narcissist needs to feel above others. And then coupled with a lack of empathy, that's where we see this taking refuge or taking solace, taking shelter in the need to be perceived as superior. Now, of course, as you can see, it's a defense mechanism. It's a way to protect them from feeling really how they do. So whether they came from another country, whether they came from another culture, whether they came from another community, whether they feel that they have a flaw about themselves, their hair, their skin, their nose, their waistline, their family, their own parents, their own legacy, the fact that they were born into money, the fact that they were born out of money, the fact that they didn't have a parent, the fact that they didn't have a sibling, the fact that they didn't have food, whatever it is, they are trying to hide, conceal, and protect themselves through this refuge in superiority. And refuge, if we look at the word refuge, it means they are taking shelter or protection from danger or trouble. So if you are taking shelter, we all have a need for shelter. Obviously, if you want to go camping, that's one thing. But, most people don't want to live outside. They do want to have shelter. They do want to have a roof over their head. They feel protected. So just when you arrive home, you're like, I am home. You are in your shelter. You are in your happy place. Or for some people, it is still an area of conflict if you are still in a relationship with a narcissist. So as you can relate to the feeling of shelter, that is refuge. It is a place of protection or safety. So this individual, even though they are hurting you, projecting anger, hostility, and indignation, we're going to get to the root word of that in a moment, they're projecting this worthlessness onto you, this indignation, this disrespect. When they do this, they feel a sense of shelter, protection, and safety. Even though they will snub you off, give you the sneer, give you the dirty looks, give you the cold shoulder, be very haughty and arrogant, they feel very safe in this activity. They take refuge in feeling superior. And now the narcissist, if we look at the root word of refuge, and we hear about refugees, so people who are fleeing from another country, who are fleeing from torture, terror, unhappiness, poverty, they're taking refuge in some other country. The root word of refuge is from the mid 1300s Middle English, and also the French refugium, equivalent to refugere, which means to turn and flee, to run away. Refugere, to flee. So fugere is the root word of flee or fugitive. So in other words, you're basically seeking asylum. You're seeking a retreat. You're basically seeking a stronghold. You're seeking a haven. And so this is how the narcissist feels when they are projecting this superiority and this indignation onto others. So not only are they taking solace in that need to feel superior, but they are treating others with this sort of indignation. And indignation means to treat something else as worthless. So an indignation also is anger or annoyance provoked by what is perceived as unfair treatment. So when you are around this individual, they have a perception that they can't deal, they can't cope. They are basically feeling like the situation is unfair because, they want to feel like it is all about them. They are the center of attention. And you coming up with your strength, your personality, your presence, they feel threatened. So automatically they're negatively assessing the situation or wrongly, erroneously assessing the situation and will treat you with indignation, disrespect, and as if you are the one who is unfair. So it's a misperception that we see from the narcissist who needs this sense of superiority. And this indignation, this anger that you see that's coming oftentimes from seething either way underneath the surface of the covert narcissist or sometimes outwardly so, we see in like a borderline narcissist or a raging narcissist. The root word of indignation, and yes, my psychology and English degree is why we're discussing this for my interest. I think it will help you understand therapeutically as well that indignation the origin of indignation comes from the Latin indignare, regarded as unworthy. And the Latin indignatio, and then essentially deriving or metamorphosizing or evolving into indignation, disdain, or contempt. And so basically, and also the Latin indignation, regard as unworthy. So indignation is which, you're regarded as unworthy. So this is very interesting because to treat others as unworthy, you are automatically hiring up yourself. So if you can put others down, they're down, and you automatically have this authority. The narcissist automatically has authority when they are putting others down. So I hope you are able to understand the connection and correlation between the refuge of superiority and the indignation, anger, and mistreatment and exploitation that they will project onto others. It is peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.